What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks here on Scores and Odds. If you haven't already checked it out already, you're just making bad life choices. Just go to scoresandodds.com and get in there, sign up, because we have all sorts of wonderful baseball, basketball, football, every single content under the sun, plus all sorts of tools like this little one right here, where it tells you exactly where the best numbers are on what site for each individual bet here. So as you can see, Manoa, the best line on his over of 5.5 strikeouts, minus 120 on points bet. Best line is under, even money over on FanDuel. So an absolutely fantastic tool here. It's the subscription's worth alone for that. And if you haven't been following this show, we've been crushing it. You have access to all my bets, and you have access over on Grant's Action Lounge in the Discord. All you have to do is go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. I'm going to throw it here in the chat. I should have this ready every single time, but I don't because I'm unprepared. But every single time I throw in a bet, pretty much, I throw it in the chat here. So we have all the bets that are on this page right here in the chat every single day. I hit them. I throw them in there. Boom. You can do what you want with them after that. But we've been making a boatload of money since we started this first month. Not great, not terrible. I mean, we had made $3K in the first month. Last month, $13.5K. This month, already up 2.1K, and that's with me having COVID the entire time. I am joined by, some would say, my friend, Daniel Chevelson. How you doing there, Daniel?
I'm doing okay. More importantly, how are you, Grant? I know, you're still kind of powering through your. I didn't
still positive.
Yeah.
Just took a test. I'm still positive. Son of a biscuit.
It's been like over a week, right? I don't know how long that lurks.
I started feeling bad like a week, 10 days ago, like on Saturday. They say you're supposed to not go back to work until 10 days after your positive test. So, I mean, my fiance is more pissed off than I am because she actually has to go into work. I don't leave the house. And all I was planning on doing right now was dieting and exercise and losing some weight. But this COVID is making me lose a bunch of weight. So mission accomplished.
That's your silver lining is what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, also like my wedding, my honeymoon, now I don't have to really worry about getting COVID. So although I didn't think I had to worry about getting COVID after I got it in January, but here I am.
I thought that was the case of you. I thought that was your second time around.
This might be my third. I might have gotten it in August when I was moving. I just never tested because I'm not leaving the house for a week. But you know what? At least I know I'm not going to die from it. It's just a cold. People live with colds now.
You said you're doing well so far in baseball, by the way. I haven't, the season kind of, a slow roll out like on Thursday, and now we're today is basically with the number 4 starters, number 5 starters getting rolled out. We talked about a pre-show as far as some of the pitchers. It is so rough. I just got done like digging in from a DFS perspective, writing for the expert survey on Roto Grinders. You're coming at it from a gambling perspective, obviously, and I don't have a lot of gambling takes right now, but I'm going to hear what you have to say, and I'm going to give my thoughts based on what I've dug into today. But I think it's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, no, I think I'm currently 5-1 on pitcher props in the Action Lounge. I'm 3-0 on this. I went 3-0 on this show last Wednesday with all of them being plus odds. I think it was like Evaldi over 5.5. That hit. He had 7. I had G at plus 130. I had Giolito plus 130 over 5.5. That hit. And I had Nola over 6.5. That one was close, but he ended up with 7 strikeouts there. So on this show, if you paid attention to my pitcher props last week, absolutely crushed it. If you're on the weekend, I think I won a slight amount of money. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I've got a lot of them today, and it's an interesting one. Like, they're all just 50-50 shots or less than 50-50 shots, but big positive juice on all these, which, I mean, everyone right now is on a kind of a short lease. We had a shorter spring training, so we don't know how far people are going to go into the games, but I mean, it is what it is, and
that's reflected in the numbers, I assume, because we were talking about that pre-show, and a couple of guys you were talking about, like Dylan Bundy. I think one of the rare guys that actually had 3 starts in spring training. He went from 2 innings to 3 innings to 4 innings. You're going to talk about Ranger Suarez, like his last start with 3 2/3, 43 pitches he threw. Manoa for Toronto, he threw 52 pitches, 4 2/3, which he's probably one of the more likely guys to throw more pitches than most. Still not great. But it's a big old mess. But like you said, the numbers, as far as K projection, nobody's projected to throw more than 5.5 today. Is that what the number was?
Yeah, 5.5 is the highest K prop with Manoa. Everyone else is saying at 3.5, 4.5 mostly. So yeah, let's just dig right into it and talk about that guy. Actually, I want to talk about, because we have like 4 minutes until this game starts, all my bets from the Cleveland game. I have Hernandez over 3.5 strikeouts, I believe. Over 3.5 strikeouts, sitting at plus 130 solid odds. Not a huge strikeout guy. Tends to walk a lot of guys, where that's why he doesn't go late into games. But going up against this Cleveland team, lots of heavy strikeout bats, not a lot of big walk bats, just Straw and Ramirez going up against righties. Everyone else is sitting right around 5 bats. So it can be a little bit more efficient here. 3.5 is too low of a number when you consider the plus 130 odds. That might be it.
I got to pull up on the plate IQ, by the way. It is.
I also have Cleveland minus 1.5. Got the run line plus 162 over at FanDuel.
Why do you like Cleveland today? Just use like that line, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good line. I'm getting at minus 162 on the run line. I mean, Surveil, I don't think is that great. This Cleveland or this Kansas City lineup is not fantastic. I mean, Surveil's much better than Hernandez. I mean, look at the numbers. Hernandez was a 5.44 xFIP guy last year. Surveil seemed to always get out of things. He throws a lot of strikes, doesn't really walk a ton of guys. And just looking at this lineup, no one's really that great versus righties. Witt obviously could be pretty decent here this year, but overall just not a great lineup in comparison to Cleveland, who's still not a great lineup, but they have Franmil, they have Ramirez, they have Kwan in there. So they have a bit better bats there. I know it's playing over in Kansas City, but getting them at minus 1.5 at plus 162 is I think it's pretty solid. Money line's currently sitting around a pick 'em. So I like that line quite a bit.
How low is the Savali number as far as his strikeout projection? Because I just like seeing Taylor. Whenever you see Taylor in the lineup, you love seeing that. He strikes out a ton. Mondesi strikes out a ton against righties. 2020 to 21, they went 34% for Mondesi, 26% for Taylor. Of course, Savali not a big K pitcher, around 21%. But just when you see, for me, again, I'm new to this stuff. I'm just kind of jumping in this world. A lot of stuff. There's a big Venn diagram. There's a big crossover. But, we think about it from the DFS perspective as far as getting a boost as far as Ks. How much does the line move if a guy like Taylor all of a sudden pops in the lineup? Because I don't know if the books
it rarely moves. I think I'm going to hit it actually now.
He might only see him twice, right? Because he's batting 8th, and Savali probably doesn't make it in the lineup 3 times.
Yeah, you're right. But the main thing is that this line is hit it over at Caesars, by the way, minus 125. You can get minus 135 over at DK, but that's not as good. So minus 125 over at Caesars. Go hit that. I mean, he's the bat hasn't projected for over 4 here. He's sitting at 3.5. Taylor coming in there is definitely a help. Nicky Lopez batting in the 9 hole isn't great, but at least
he's ninth, not first, right? Which matters.
Yeah. So
there's Dozier's a big K guy as well, obviously.
They have some strikeouts.
I'm trying to see what he did in the spring as far as Savali, how stretched out he may be. Guess probably more than most of these guys, but I have not looked. I didn't look at this game. I looked at the night slate, so I didn't even know that this game was happening at 3:00. My content was for tonight.
Yeah, well, I've got a decent amount of stuff on this game because I like to party, Dino.
Hey man, have a good time. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. That's basically it. Now we'll just go game by game since that one's out of the way. You should have plenty of time to make your bets on the other games here. We're starting out with the Ranger Suarez over 4.5 strikeouts. You can get it minus 140 now over at Caesars. It moved. I got it plus 140. I got it plus 150 here. Now, the main thing with Ranger Suarez is, you mentioned he only pitched 43 pitches. Maybe he gets up to 65, 70. He's super efficient. He's very, very efficient. He only walks guys at a 7.4% clip. More strikeouts versus lefties and righties, and Cano's in the lineup, McNeil's in the lineup. So only a few lefties, and they're down near the bottom. But Davis strikes out at a pretty heavy clip. Marte strikes out at a decently heavy clip going up against lefties. I'm gonna
just the lineup's not out, is it? I don't see. I just see a projected lineup.
Yeah, the projected lineup.
Okay,
I mean, I assume that's what's going to be. I mean, Cano should be. Yeah, like
why wouldn't I mean Cano's a lefty versus Suarez, so I wouldn't assume he's in there. But and Cano's is a DH, and I'm trying to think who the other DH would be. Dom Smith, who's also a lefty. There might be another person I'm not thinking of, but yeah, that's the current projection for what it's worth. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a great strikeout matchup. It's not terrible, but Suarez is pretty efficient. Like looking at his game log last season, I think he struck out 5+ in his last 7 starts. Like he was doing it at a very consistent rate when he was actually a starter, and people forget that he was actually like not pitching very late into the game. So Suarez over a 4.5. I wouldn't take it if the juice wasn't massive at plus 450. But at plus 450, that's very solid.
Just looking, I pulled up the Mets like kind of depth chart, and they have a lot of lefties. So maybe it's hard to get away left on left here, DH wise. JD Davis is a guy that doesn't necessarily have to start. He might play DH, but he very well could just play in the field. Yeah, the tricky thing with Suarez is that you just don't know how deep he's going to go, and you're getting a plus odd on it. But he's a perfectly fine strikeout pitcher, 24%, which is good. You know, especially in this slate, this is really good. You're not asking too much, but it is a pretty contact-heavy New York lineup. The projected lineup is at 18.6% as far as striking out, which is, not that appealing. You want Alonso in there. You want J.D. Davis in there. You'd like to see McCann in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I prefer. But even with projected starting lineup, I still think that he provides pretty solid odds. I mean, again, the bigger thing you worry about is Davis and Alonso trying to draw a walk, but Suarez, he only walks righties at an 8% clip. So, yeah, I'm in for that. Over on the other side, I have Walker under 3.5 strikeouts. I mean, like this is a pretty solid hitting Phillies lineup. I mean, it's fantastic. It's beautiful.
It's kind of a beer league lineup, though, right?
It's what?
It's kind of the beer league, like softball kind of lineup, because they do, like, Schwarber leading off is sort of like the staple of that. But they do strike out. But not that Walker's this great strikeout pitcher, and that's why that number is down. But like these guys will strike out, which is kind of a problem. And the lineup is officially out: Schwarber, Real Muto, Harper, Castellanos, Hoskins, Gregorius, Segura, Baum. Oh, Baum is in there. That's not good. I was hoping it would be the rookie, and Bierling. That's unfortunate. I was hoping it would be Stott.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they're still just super solid. I mean, Baum and Verling definitely don't help the strikeout numbers, but I still think like they know how to work a count. These are all guys like he could get absolutely just destroyed real quickly. 3.5. I got the under at plus 120. I think that's a solid line.
Fair enough.
All right, moving on to the next line here. We got Tyon over 4.5 strikeouts. This one's a little bit scary here. I mean, Tyon obviously was pretty hit or miss last season, but I got it plus 150. This is a tough lineup. This is a super tough lineup, but Tyon, he doesn't walk a lot of guys, so he's going to be throwing strikes. His swing strike rate was sitting at 12.4% last season, the last 2 seasons. Last season, because I guess he missed the season before that. But like, he doesn't walk righties. He's actually got pretty solid command versus righties. And name a lefty that you're afraid of here.
Well, no, but the righties are all really, really good. But you're right. Like Tapia's whatever. Biggio isn't great. Biggio's just kind of in a platoon these days. It seems like he's kind of sputtered. He's fallen down. But, these guys can all hit righties too, like Vlad and Bichette and Hernandez, Springer. And they don't strike out a ton outside of Teoscar and Chapman. So, but like the plus 150 obviously is what's most appealing about your bet. I assume.
Yeah. No, that's why. Like, it's
that's the lead we're burying.
And then I bet my first steal bet of the year. You know what it is?
What, you can bet on steals?
Yep.
Oh man, we have tools for this. Like we have, you go on like the premier leaderboard kind of thing as far as projected steals, and especially when you see certain batteries coming out. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I know off the top of my head before even digging into the sites, like, a month into the season, 3 weeks into the season. But right now, I'm like a little bit rusty. I'm tuning my brain back in for this. But now I'm curious, who is Oh boy. Well, it's got to be from this game, right?
Yep, it's from the Toronto side. Should be pretty easy saying that.
Oh, hold on a second. Now, is Ty? I feel like Tyon actually is somebody you can run on. I'm pretty sure he is, actually.
Yeah, he is.
I just kind of know this stuff and like, yeah. All right, let's see. Who's your favorite Steel guy? Let's see. I'm gonna say it is. No, I'm just stalling for time. Apparently, who are the speed? You think it's Tapia?
Yep.
Okay.
20 stolen bases last year.
Yeah.
And do you know I got the line at? Take a guess what I got the line at.
I don't see this. I'm gonna say it's like plus 390.
Way up.
Is it? Well, okay. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is me just doing some guesswork. Plus 650.
Way up.
Okay. Is it 10-1?
11-1. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a fun dart. This is something I think you absolutely could take advantage of. Oh man, just certain remember like back in the day, like when Billy Hamilton versus John Lester, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like you just know, like he gets on first, he's gonna end up on third. If he didn't homer, I think he homered against John Lester twice, which is amazing. Probably the only pitcher ever he hit more than one home run against. Yeah, this is going to be useful. I'm going to like this. I have not looked into this today, but there are absolutely some batteries that are really, really vulnerable to stolen bases. And yeah, okay, that seems like a fun bet.
Yep. And I mean, if you do your research, like it's not a big enough market where people can put enough money down, and like obviously with the plus 1100, like that's the main thing. Like it's all about potential ROI. So looking for markets where you can possibly get an edge on, because Vegas isn't doing enough research into it. Stolen bases market is definitely one of them, because with such high odds, like plus 1100, if you're a limited bettor, you're going to be able to get like $5 to $10 on it generally. Obviously depends site to site. Like Caesars never really limits. For some reason, they just boot you.
Can I put like $500 on that in theory?
I mean, in theory, maybe they'll let you have it. Like if you were new to DraftKings, you could probably, like if you were over here in Colorado right now, sign up for DraftKings, you could put 500. For some reason, DraftKings let me put 200 on it. It was under review for a really long time. I was getting worried, but they let me put 200 on it. So I've got like 200 to win 2,200. So I'm going to be, anytime he's on base, I'm going to be watching like, oh, come on, go.
By the way, that's a lot of fun. The worst is like when you see the guy break and, the hitter swings. Like, what are you doing swinging? And like fouls it off or whatever, or pops it up. And it's like the dude at the base stolen. So I just pulled up the bat, right? Derek Carty's the bat. And, there are all sorts of things in here, obviously. And stolen base projection. You want to know what Tapia's stolen base projection is for today? Of course. What's that?
0.2.
It's 0.23. So yeah, it's basically saying like 4-1, 5-1. So you're getting some odds.
Yeah. Shout out to Cardi. That's what got me onto the Tapia line.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. But the biggest one today, by the way, is Cedric Mullins, 0.31 stolen base projected.
Yeah, I wonder what his stolen base line is. Yeah. See, he's sitting at plus 300. See, that's where.
Yeah, that's you don't bet that. What's the point?
You said it was 0.3 today.
0.31, biggest number.
Yeah, so probably still offers a little bit of positive ROI, but yeah,
interesting.
Still,
no, that's definitely a market that I think that, like you said, the books are not. They only have so much time, right? They're not spending time on setting, not as much time or the time necessary. That feels like it's a market that can be exploited. I like it.
Yeah.
By the way, Cleveland, Hernandez scuffling. First two guys on base, and he's 3-0 on Ramirez right now. Just a heads up as far as. I
mean, I've still got the Guardians minus 1.5. So if Hernandez gets completely destroyed, I'm calling it a win. Yeah.
How do you feel? You like the name Guardians?
No, it's trash.
See, I got to. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that it's trash, but it's just that it's new, right? And he just walked Ramirez. So it's not that it's trash, but like if somebody just introduced a brand new baseball team today and let's call them the Red Sox. Let's call this team the White Sox. Let's call this team the Reds. Like, what? what but
I would love all those names.
No, you wouldn't. You would think that they're ridiculous.
I don't like lengthy, ridiculous names.
Wait,
like Guardians, the
three.
Commanders.
With three syllables is one syllable too many for you.
Yes. Name a good team with 3 syllables.
What are they? What's the Seattle team? Oh, the Kraken's is 2.
Yeah.
That's
see.
But the point is like, just because it's new. When you grew up, you never questioned Red Sox, White Sox, Reds. There's so many terrible names.
1 to 2 syllables is what matters.
Phillies? What's a Philly?
It doesn't matter. Phillies, 2 syllables.
What?
Phillies, 2 syllables. I guess the Guardians and the Commanders are trash names because they're too long. 3 syllables is too long.
If you want to argue they're generic, we can argue they're generic. They're kind of generic sounding. I'll give you that.
They are, and they're too long. Generic and too long. Like, I don't care if it's generic. Like, they could be called the Pillows. That's generic and has 2 syllables.
I'm trying to think of Metropolitans. How about that? Let's not forget they're called the Mets. The Metropolitans. How dumb of a name is that? It's a dumb name.
Yeah, it is, but the Mets is awesome.
Why is Mets?
There's a reason why the Supersonics went to the Sonics and the Knickerbockers went to the Knicks.
Well, yeah, because people are lazy and whatever, easy to write and that kind of stuff too. But
yeah, simplicity is key. Simplicity and alliteration.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some. I'm not looking at a whole list of teams off the top of my head. Oh, I got one for you. Avalanche. Boom, that's a good name. 3 syllables. You can't deny.
Well, that's also like incredibly specific to Colorado.
Now you're moving the goalpost, man.
I still would prefer it not to be 3 syllables, but at least it has roots in hockey because they're playing on ice, and it has roots in Colorado because of all the Avalanches.
I understand why it's clever that the Colorado team is called the Avalanche.
Yes,
I get it. But how many? Can you name them really quick? Name the teams for professional sports teams that do not have an S ending in their last nickname. Go.
No, I've heard this one before, and I used to know. Now
Magic, Jazz, Heat, Kraken, Avalanche, Lightning. There's a couple more.
Yeah,
I'm sidetracking the show. I apologize.
All right, let's move on to the next bet here. Again, hit that Tapia line. Gosh, I love it.
Is the chat? The chat's going to chime in and give us some examples. I'm sure they're probably on my side in this one.
Milo's with me, or Milo's kind of with me, but it's like I don't mind the names, but Grant is spot on with the syllables. And yeah, see, Milo, Avalanche are also shortened to Avs all the time. Shorten the Guardians. Shorten the Commanders. The Coms.
The Coms.
Go Coms.
Where are you going? Why do you need to save 1 syllable? Like, are you that busy?
That's 2 syllables. I'm saving 2 syllables.
The Marlins are called the Fish.
Yeah, I'm saving 2 syllables. Again, 3-syllable words are a problem.
I don't hate that. I don't dislike that take. If that's your take, but
that is my take.
All right, but Avalanche. Aha.
Yeah. Abs. The Abs.
That's not as cool.
That's what everyone calls them. The Abs.
Do they?
Yeah.
Predators. Oh, they call them the Preds, don't they?
Yep.
All right, we'll move on.
Yeah. Also, Predators are fierce, like predators. Next one we got Gomber. I don't know if I don't think I might put it in chat. Yeah, I put Gomber over 4.5 strikeouts plus 124 on FanDuel. They would only let me get $20 on that, and I was pissed, so I didn't bet it. But I ended up betting Gomber under 2.5 runs. He's solid. Like, people forget that he was actually pretty solid last year, which the weirdest thing in the world is his ERA was much worse on the road. His xFIP was much worse on the road. Like, doesn't make sense playing over in Coors. I get that the Dome's open today, but I took under 2.5 total earned runs, plus 105 over on Caesars. Yeah, it's just I think that line's a little bit too high. I don't expect him to have that long of a leash. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. I mean, Seager obviously going lefty-lefty. Lau obviously going lefty-lefty. He's in there. Calhoun, if he's in there, lefty-lefty. So there's a lot of lefty-lefty spots. So they're going to struggle a little bit with that. And, I mean, huge amount of strikeouts. So the strikeout number is solid. The earned runs, like, if they can't put the ball in play and they don't walk a ton, like, he struggles at walking righties. Look at the righties' walk numbers. 7.5%, 9.5, obviously solid. 3.8, 2.1, 7.9, and 4.2. No one walks here. Like runs aren't going to be shortened that much.
By the way, there's probably a few people watching this show, and they're like, "What are you showing? Like, what is that?" Plate IQ tool. It's awesome. It's like, we a lot of times you look at teams like, "Well, this team's bad against lefties. This team's good against lefties. This team strikeouts a lot." But that's like their overall bucket of numbers. This is the very specific lineup. This lineup, this day, exactly the way I lined up. It's my favorite tool that I use for helping make DFS lineups. And just the Plate IQ tool. Whoever invented it, whoever came up with it, everything is concise right there for you. And just want to shout out the tool. And like, it's very, very useful. People are asking what it is.
Saves my day so much time.
Yeah. It's a huge time saver. Everything is just condensed. Everything you need. You can figure out so much information. Like I said, you can dig into you're just on the dashboard part. You can dig into the premium reports or the premium leaderboards, and like you can break down like pitch stuff. And like I don't usually do that. I don't know if you do. Like, do you care about this guy versus sliders? This guy throws a lot of sliders.
So
sometimes rarely.
I do, like, especially when I'm trying to figure out like why is this guy reverse splits. So you can see that Gomber's fairly splits neutral. He gets a little bit more wild going up against righties, going up against lefties. That's because his out pitches against righties are changeup and curveball, as you can see here. So you can get a little bit more wild and get him to chase a little bit more, while sliders just kind of hammering it in there inside these mostly fastball slider guy going up against lefties. So that's why he walks guys at a higher rate versus righties and versus lefties. But change-out pitch is a solid pitch going up against opposite-handedness, so that's why he has a better strikeout rate going up against righties than he does going up against lefties, while normal splits guys would be the opposite. So I dig into a lot of pitch type stuff. A lot of pitch type
stuff. I just know like the general rule, and you kind of mentioned it, the general rule is why is this guy reverse splitsy? The general answer usually is because he's got a really big curveball. Like his curveball is like his featured pitch.
Curveball or change up is actually more predominant.
Yeah, so like that's but I have not. There's only so much time in the day, and like unless I'm really digging into somebody specifically trying to figure stuff out, like I generally don't get there. But there's stuff there if you want to spend the time. You can really dig in.
Yeah, I mean, especially with reverse splits, like it's just like arm angle has a big thing to deal with it. Like. Yeah, it's wild stuff. But yeah, on Gomber, Byron Buxton over 0.5 home runs. He has the worst odds on the day. Like he's the odds-on favorite to get a home run, plus 200. I still hit it. Like I don't hit home run props that often. But in his last 82 games, I think he has 30 home runs. Like he's got 3 so far this season in 3 games. I'm all for riding out heaters. Like. Some people may say they don't exist. I don't care. I bet Buxton plus 200 to hit a home run today.
I mean, the skill of Buxton's never been in doubt. It's always been the health of Buxton, right? Like when he's healthy, if he plays 150 games this year, he's potentially, an MVP candidate. That said, I love Buxton, but I hate that bet, man. I don't want to lay 2 to 1. I mean, I hate those odds. I hate the odds. But I mean, I love Buxton. So like, and you kind of said it too. Like, when do you ever lay 2 to 1 at a homer? He's not in Coors. It's not great weather in Minnesota.
Flexen gives up a 43.3% hard contact rate to righties since the beginning of last season. He's a guy that doesn't strike out a ton of guys, which is obviously a big swing guy like Buxton who can strike out a decent amount. It's going to be a problem going up against him. But with Flexen being a guy that just throws strikes going up against Buxton, it's perfect.
Flexen's not a huge fly ball guy, 36%. Homer per 9 in 179 innings. It's under 1. Like, he's not good. I'm not here to argue Flexen's good, but he's not, like, giving up piles and piles of homers. I just, Grant, you had me on the show, and
this can be our movie bet. I'm giving you great odds since you still haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
I will watch, yes. And you owe me a movie, which I forget the title. It's been so long.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that title to tell me.
But yes, I'm happy to wager a movie bet on this, and I will watch Lord of the Rings within like the next week. And I've been terribly slacking on that. The condensed schedule of basketball and baseball, but now that basketball is easing up, Playoffs don't start, I think, for officially the playoffs, like what, 5, 6 days, 7 days, something like that before the.
Okay, the movie I'm going to make you watch is going to be Encanto.
Oh, dude, why are you doing this to me, man?
You can pick Encanto, Moana, or Frozen. Actually, no, you haven't seen any of the old Disney movies, have you?
No, I've never. I don't think.
Okay,
I've
I'm going with
seen
Aladdin. Aladdin, by far my favorite.
Why would you?
The old Aladdin, not the new one.
Do you remember the rule? I don't know which is the difference. You remember the rules are you're supposed to like the movie. Like you genuinely have to like the movie.
Yes, I love Aladdin. I watch Aladdin often.
You watch it like it's still in your rotation in the year 2022.
Ahead of the guys.
Oh my God, Buxton! I love Buxton. But please do not homer tonight, man. Ridiculous.
94% by the. Oh, that's the new Aladdin.
I'm sure it's a good kids movie. Like if I was 6, I'd think it's great.
95% by critics, 92% by audience. It gets past the 80% threshold, which is a requirement.
Oh, is that a requirement? I didn't know it was a requirement.
Yeah. 80% by either critics or audience. Okay. I think we decided the other time.
It's a big number.
Let's see. Rousseau, under 0.5 total hits. Yeah, I mean, I got it plus 120. Rousseau, obviously not a terrible hitter. Might get pinch hit for. He's getting platooned out going up against Zimmerman. Probably batting 8th. He is confirmed now, batting 8th in the lineup. 30% strikeout guy. Knows how to work accounts, so there's always a chance for a walk there. Under 0.5, plus 120 just seems like a solid overall bet. You with me that?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, when he was on Tampa, he was platooned out all the time. But Tampa's notorious for platooning. Mm-hmm. But he does seem like a guy that is vulnerable to get platooned. So I like that call. And the opposing pitcher, who knows how long they're actually going to stick around? So they may switch arms on you. I got a homer guy for you, by the way. I like the odds on a little bit.
Who?
Brandon Lau, plus 375. At home, I know it's a garbage ballpark, obviously, for homers, but he had plenty of homers there last season. I like the matchup for Brandon Lau, and he's leading off, so he's got a really good shot of getting those 5 ABs. That extra AB could be precious. That could be the one you need. And he's facing Blackburn, who is amongst the slate of terrible pitchers. Paul Blackburn might be one of the worst, if not the worst. Not going to strike you out. 14.9% has yielded. And this is kind of a small sample, obviously 38 innings, but almost 2 homers per 9, 1.88 homers. The homer and the fly ball is kind of wonky. It's around 20%, so maybe a little bit of that is unlucky. But also, he was throwing him in Oakland, so there's not you don't give up any gimmies when you're in Oakland, right? You got to get a hold of it to bang one out there. So I think he's just bad amongst. So yeah, I like the Rays today for TFS and plus 375. Brandon Lau, give me that.
Nice. Yeah, I don't hate it.
Did I sell you or no?
No, you didn't sell. I'm not going to bet it, but
oh, come on.
No. I have Hauser over 3.5 strikeouts. It's going up against Baltimore. Everyone strikes out a ton. Like, I know he's not a big strikeout guy, but it's Baltimore.
Yeah, he's definitely not a big strikeout guy.
Yeah, he's not.
That game happens in a half hour, by the way. Just a heads up.
Yeah, so go bet that right now.
Good lineup, though, to face for strikeouts.
Yeah, very solid. Let's see, Schwarber over 1.5 total bases.
Are walks involved in total bases or no?
No.
Okay.
So 2 singles or a double.
Yeah.
But he's going up against Walker. Walker, biggest fraud in the world last year. Like, especially versus lefties. I mean, he had a 256 WOBA versus lefties last year. 21% K rate, 13% walk rate, 43% fly ball rate, 39% hard contact rate, no soft contact. Biggest fraud in the world.
I'm not a Walker guy. Like, I liked him. He was a prospect for the Mariners like 7 years ago, but I've jumped ship, whatever it was. But yeah, it's not happening.
Some guy went off on me on Twitter for saying that Walker, like, just dismissing Walker on the morning grind once. Like, he's had this ERA. You pretty much have to say that he actually probably good. I'm like, no. People can get lucky for a long period of time. People can get unlucky for a long period of time. Every advanced statistic says Walker's not good. That's simple.
But you were talking DFS, and I would say, again, this is not an endorsement, but I would say you amongst the nonsense that I'm considering rostering tonight is at pitcher, like he might be in that bucket. I'm probably not going to, but like it's all bad basically. So if you want to roster him, I guess you can, but I don't advise it. Right? Yeah, that's
Savali's getting into some trouble. That's not good for me. See, double play ball. Yeah. Oh well.
You got a strikeout at least.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Toronto minus 1.5 runs. Plus 180 going up against the Yanks. Manoah's just a far superior pitcher than Tyon, in my opinion. And the Toronto lineup is superior to the Yankees. Disagree?
I think the Toronto lineup is probably better. Yeah. Just kind of looking at it. I mean, the Yankee lineup is a little bit more boom bust, right? But
I mean, you can literally go position by position. Kirk probably right there with Higgs.
Kirk's a better hitting catcher than Higashioka. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kirk's a better hitter.
All right, so first base, Vlad over Rizzo, clearly. Second base, Biggio versus Torres, similar. Shortstop. Shortstop. I can't remember. Is it Bo's the shortstop? I don't remember
I believe Bichette plays shortstop, yeah.
Yeah, so Bichette versus
Torres.
Oh, yeah, so LeMahieu was the last one. I'd take Bichette. Third base, Chapman, Donaldson, probably pretty similar. When you include defense, I'd take Chapman. Outfield, Springer versus Judge, similar. Teoscar versus who else? Stanton, similar.
Yeah, kind of similar.
And then Tapia versus whoever's at the bottom of the lineup here. Gallo, I guess. No, Gallo.
He plays some outfield. I think Connor Fleetwood plays all over. Converted catcher. I guess he plays some shortstop too. I'm not exactly.
Yeah, sure, but in any case, Toronto's better. Toronto's 100% better.
I mean, also whenever you're betting minus 1.5, it's comforting to be on the road, right? Like the line reflects that. But
well, I think I bet the alt line.
Yeah. I'm saying when you have the alt line minus 1.5, like you feel much better on the road because if you go extra innings or there's no walk-off singles.
Yeah,
you just keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You're getting a big number. I mean, Toronto they've been involved in some really high-scoring games. Their pitching's been bad too. And the tricky thing is Manoah, we don't know how deep he's going to go. Young prospects, so they probably won't push him a ton. 52 pitches his last outing in spring, 4 2/3. So maybe he goes to 70-ish, But he's a good power pitcher. He's a guy that could strike out like 7 guys in 3 innings. Like that's something he can do too.
Yeah, I mean, last year obviously his first year, and he had some glimpses of being great, and he had some glimpses of struggling. So, yeah, come on. Oh gosh, let's go, Savale. Let's see, Zimmerman, Bruce Zimmerman over 3.5 strikeouts. I don't even remember.
I have not considered Bruce Zimmerman.
I bet it.
Pitching for the Baltimore today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in that game. I've not looked.
I mean, the number's a little bit low.
He's terrible, though, isn't he?
He's not good. He's definitely not good, but that was it. Like, he's got solid strikeout numbers versus lefties, and there's going to be a few of them there. They'll let him pitch because why not? What is Baltimore going to do anyways? Like, they have no reason to really yank any of their players because they're trying to lose regardless.
They moved the fences out in Baltimore.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, it can only help the pitchers, I guess.
Yeah, Savale up to 2 strikeouts.
There
Still
it
got
is.
the bases loaded. Going up against Dozier. Let's see if we can strike him out.
He's a strikeout contestant for sure.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much all my bets.
That's all you have for the day, huh? Oh, Twins lineup just came out. Buxton is leading off. Buxton, Correa, Arise, Polanco, Urshela, Kepler, Sanchez, Sano. It's so weird to say Sano at 8th, but that's just kind of how it goes. And Kirilov, big prospect last year in the 9 hole. Huh. Interesting. Urshela's batting 5th. That's how bad is Oakland? It's so sad.
Gosh.
I feel bad for Oakland, and they have such great fans in Oakland. Like, you ever watch the Oakland games? Like, they have this really dedicated fan base. Like, in the crowd. Like,
well, it might be the Las Vegas A's.
I mean, it really. I don't want to move the team, but they really probably should be. It really probably should be. And the Las Vegas model is working, man. That is working, and I think that they can contain what they have two franchises now, and they can get no basketball, but the hockey team is thriving. That I already saw a thing where Vegas's tickets are going to expect it to be the most expensive on average going next season.
Yeah,
the football team. Yeah, I mean, probably should be, but it stinks. And the Rays are another team, but they said the first game was a sellout. I don't know if you saw that. We sold out the first game. The part they didn't tell you is that they didn't sell seats on the upper deck.
Yeah.
Oh man, they do an incredible job with the money they spend. And
best front office in sports.
I mean, there's been some turnover there too, but they've done an incredible job. Absolutely. I mean, Oakland's done an incredible job. Both those teams have done.
Oakland's probably the number 2 best front office in sports. Just they need to force the owner to sell the team. Be like, give it to someone who actually knows what they're like. Well, I mean, Tampa Bay, there's nothing they can do about it.
They threatened to split their season with Montreal. I don't know if you saw that. I got a buddy of mine in St. Pete who kind of keeps me up to date as far as this thing. And I know people talk about where the stadium is, and the stadium's not located in an ideal spot to go to a baseball game.
Real problem. You shouldn't have to drive an hour outside the city.
It's not. I mean, it's not in Tampa. It's in St. Pete's, like a sister city. I don't know if you know how it's set up, but it's not ideal. But and that was what they said about the Marlins forever. And the Marlins now they save money to get in an area they didn't want to. It wasn't ideal. Also, they're not necessarily downtown. But, people aren't going to Marlins games either. And,
No, that's because the Marlins suck. That's the reason why. If the Marlins were actually good, people would go.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that they dumped a lot of players, obviously. They had some talent, and they've done it. It's not just it was multiple regimes, multiple owners. They did it multiple times. Jeffrey Loria years ago. They won a World Series, and then they set the record for the worst record after winning a World, most losses dramatically, whatever it was. They became, the worst team in the league and sold everybody off after winning a World Series. They barely gave the fans time to even celebrate it. It's just, we didn't make enough money, so we're just going to sell everybody off. And that it's not to go into the whole thing, but they could have sold the team to a local man, a Cuban, a local Cuban that was I'm going to spend a ton of money on this team. And they chose to sell it to Derek Jeter's group because Derek Jeter's a flashy name. And Derek Jeter, he invested in the team, but not really, because he got a salary that essentially gave him back all his investment. And that's probably why he's gone, because his contract was up. But there's no reason to delve into that. But the whole thing was really shady. And if you ever want to listen to Dan Le Batard roast what's the dopey the commissioner, Rob Manfred? Oh, it's incredible. So it's 25 minutes of incredible radio. I listen to it once a year. It's so good. Talking about how Manfred's defending the selling to Jeter's group, and then they just trade everybody off. And again, there was another group that was willing to spend. It also raised the price of every other franchise because of the record high. It's a lot of stuff to get into, and I'm all fired up about it right now, Grant. But I'm sidetracking the show. I apologize.
No, it's all good. We're basically done for. What movie are you gonna have me watch if Buxton doesn't hit a home run?
I will. But Savali got out of it. 24 pitches, 2 Ks. How many does he need? 3.5 or 4.5?
3.5.
Dude, we're almost there. Halfway home, I think.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
I will. It's funny. I was recommending Deep Water on Twitter the other day, and it was a weird.
Oh, you told me to watch. Was it Parasite or Jojo Rabbit?
Oh, Parasite. That's what you have to watch. There you go. I think you actually have to watch Parasite because that's locked in.
Yeah, now I just remembered, which I'm happy to. I mean, I hate reading, but you know what?
It's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it.
I should watch more that have won Academy Awards. Yeah.
You shouldn't just assume it's good because it won an Academy Award. I wouldn't say that, but I would say the award was fully justified. It's a fabulous movie. I saw it on Hulu. I saw it in the movie theaters. I don't know if it's anywhere free, to be honest. No, it was somewhere free. It's on Hulu. Hulu, there you go. It jumps around. But I saw it in the movie theaters with maybe 50 people, right? Actually, it was a full, small room. And I don't know, last time you're in the movie theater, when a movie ends and the crowd claps, you ever get that?
Yeah.
The crowd, the entire crowd cheered. It's whoa, that doesn't happen too often. And that, yeah, it got like I don't know if they were standing or not, but it was an ovation of some sort. So it's just excellent. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it.
Thanks.
I don't know if you'll be standing up and cheering in your living room, but I think you'll like it.
I do some weird things sometimes.
And I recommended Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. You watched that the other day, and I don't think you liked it.
It was solid. It was really well done, but it's dark.
It's too dark. You said it was like too dark for you.
Yeah.
It's definitely dark, but it's just awesome cast. Really well done.
Incredibly well done. Incredibly interesting plot line. Like, it's a thrill.
Not a happy movie.
Yeah. We'll put it that way.
But Philip Seymour Hoffman, come on. Like, he's the best.
He's good. All right, guys. Well, Daniel, thanks for joining me. We'll be back in tomorrow for some more baseball. We're out of here. See you, kids.
Holler.